I'm Carl Weathers. I play Mark Jefferies on Chicago Justice, which of course is shot in Chicago. And it's one of the four shows that Dick Wolf is currently doing here in Chicago. And I think Mark Jefferies, as a black state's attorney in a city like Chicago, is about as conveniently pertinent to today as you can get. I guess courtroom dramas are interesting to us all because it gives us a little bit of a window into a world that most of us aren't that familiar with. And so it's the workings of the people who are either being prosecuted or who are being defended, their lives and how they got into the fixes, the jams they're in. Well, one, Chicago, in terms of the show, I think is very obviously about no matter how many shows under the Dick Wolf banner that are shot in Chicago that somehow have the name Chicago in them. They're all part of the same family. You know, it's one family in one city. It's one Chicago. You know, if Dick Wolf's name's on it, then you're figuring, there's quality, there's a chance for this to really work, and I've liked the other shows, you know, before I was ever involved in them. So, wow, man, what's not to like about this? Come on, if I'm gonna do television, then this is the way to go.
Dick Wolf is kind of genius in this way that he interbreeds his shows, and not only the ones in Chicago, but the ones that are also about civil service in New York. And to bring John over really connects us because he has such a history that's immediate and that you're already following on PD that they are constantly tying in. I play Laura Nagel on Chicago Justice, and I am one of the state investigators for the state attorney's office. The one thing that One Chicago does is it can actually take you out of your own show, keep you real to your character, and put you in another show. I mean, they don't do that on any other shows. The city is one of the characters of the show, of course. It's like a Law and Order. It does pull from the headlines. It's exciting. You can relate to it. It's in a great town.
Dick Wolf, you know, and you know, he had this great idea to take Antonio from PD, move him over to Justice. I think it's a real smart way to you know, just blend the two shows even more, and you know, I think it works pretty easily. You know, you have the cases that are going on in Justice and how they can affect, you know, the PD world. It's something that was kind of from left field, and I think it's you know, I'm still kind of wrapping my brain around it, but I think it's really smart, and you know, I'm just honored to be a part of it. It's one Chicago. So I think these worlds just kind of keep colliding, and there's a lot of it's limitless as to where they can go. And I think Chicago Justice was it just really made sense to do it because you have fire, you have med, you have PD. So you know, justice is bringing you into the court system, and a lot of the things that happen on fire or med, they can connect into you know, cases on the prosecuting side, on the defense side. You know, it's kind of in that vein of Law and Order, where you know, we're taking things right from the headline, and you know, dealing with those cases. But it has, like I said, a Chicago twist to it. I think I might be the first, if not the first, one of the first actors ever to cross or be spun off twice in the same franchise. You know, from Fire to PD, PD to Justice. I mean, it's incredible. It's an incredible cast. Philip Winchester, Monica Barbaro, Joel Carter, and the incomparable Carl Weathers. I mean, that's, for me, that's like one of those pinch me moments, to be working with Carl. So it really, it's a smaller cast. It's a little more intimate. And I think that is going to pay dividends on the show. Even though it's a new show and people are going to see us together for the first time, in our world, we've existed together. So it's kind of, for us, it's taking off from that point of view. I mean, Chicago is the main character of all the shows. I think it's just another side of Chicago.
Chicago Justice has always been working alongside PD and Fire and Med. You just haven't seen it yet. My name is Monica Barbaro. I play Anna Valdez on Chicago Justice. It's really an awesome thing that we get to play within the One Chicago universe, because Law and Order didn't necessarily have that, where, people from different shows come in and, we've got Chicago Fire fans watching somebody, appear on our show and give us information. And I know last season on all the shows, there was a storyline that went through 3 shows. Everybody lives within each other's world as they naturally would, because of course, paramedics from Fire bring someone into Med, and PD works with the investigators and, the lawyers, and that makes absolute sense, as it would in the city. Courtroom dramas are really theatrical, and you'll see Stone, played by Philip Winchester, who has loads of theater experience, just working the room and approaching the jurors, and it's kind of a sales pitch too, but you can't play it salesy at all, because then the juror won't buy it. And and I'm there watching the jury, but they can't see me watching them, because then they feel like they're being watched, and you have to build their trust and get so many particular things out of the witness that don't lead into the opposing argument's needs, and it's super complicated, and there is all this language that goes into it, that it's just its own encyclopedia of knowledge that these people have to have, and I think it's so impressive to me, and that's why I've always loved courtroom dramas myself.
My name is Philip Winchester. I play Peter Stone on Chicago Justice. Peter's complicated. He's the son of Ben Stone from the famous Law and Order series, so he's got a lot of stuff to live up to, which he tries to put away, but it's always bubbling under the surface. There's a genuine love and interest for justice, and it's very black and white. There really is no gray area in Peter Stone. This is the law. If it's within the law, I will use it, and any angle, to see justice done and to see the bad guy or the bad woman put away. We are the last place for people to make, a last-ditch effort at their freedom or at their innocence or at their guilt, and so that happens with us. It's such a smart move to bring John over. It brings his following, his fan base, and that expectations of what he does and what he doesn't do. And just on a personal note, he's just a great guy. The character of Chicago behind the heartbeat of the city and stuff like that that's happening in Chicago, it just ups the ante for our show, because it's happening in a real city. It's happening in a city that matters, and the rest of the states needs to pay attention to, because it can happen anywhere. What Dick Wolf always does is he just crafts good drama, and his writers craft good drama, and the people that he involves in his shows tell good stories. So what we're trying to do in this is, that bar's been raised. We're trying to hit it every episode and every scene, and just trying to continue to keep that quality up.